I want to read you a book called The Dark so that we can talk about the light. Miss Catherine Drury mentioned in her note about Epiphany, which is all about light, that Jesus said, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." That's John 8:12. When I shared this book with her, Miss Catherine also mentioned Matthew 5:14 through 16. "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." As you listen to this story, think of the flashlight Laszlo carries as the light within each of us, a light that we carry because we hold Jesus in our hearts. And you can maybe think of the nightlight in Laszlo's room as the comforting light of God's everlasting love, which Jesus showed to us. It would be a dark and scary time if we forgot God loved us. If we ever lose sight of God's love, we might have to call on the light within us, our own goodness and courage, to seek out reminders of God's love. Imagine all this as I read you the story. Now I want to read you a book called The Dark by Lemony Snicket, illustrated by John Clausen. Laszlo was afraid of the dark. The dark lived in the same house as Laszlo, a big place with a creaky roof, smooth, cold windows, and several sets of stairs. Sometimes the dark hid in the closet. Sometimes it sat behind the shower curtain. But mostly it spent its time in the basement. All day long, the dark would wait in a distant corner, far from the squeaks and rattles of the washing machine, pressed up against some old, damp boxes and a chest of drawers nobody ever opened. At night, of course, the dark went out and spread itself against the windows and doors of Laszlo's house. But in the morning, the dark would be back in the basement where it belonged. Laszlo would peek at the dark every morning. "Hi," he would say. "Hi, dark." Laszlo thought that if he visited the dark in the dark's room, maybe the dark wouldn't come visit him in his room. But one night, it did. "Laszlo," the dark said in the dark. The voice of the dark was as creaky as the roof of the house, and as smooth and cold as the windows. And even though the dark was right next to Laszlo, the voice seemed very far away. "What do you want?" asked Laszlo. "I want to show you something," said the dark. "In here?" "No," said the dark. "Here?" No, said the dark. "Downstairs." "Downstairs?" "Yes," said the dark. In Laszlo's living room was the biggest window in the house. Laszlo looked out at all the dark outside. Above him the roof creaked, and he closed his eyes. Now the dark was all Laszlo could see. No, said the dark again. "Not there. Down here." "In the basement?" asked Laszlo. "Yes," said the dark. Laszlo had never dared come to the dark's room at night. "Come closer," said the dark. Laszlo came closer. "Even closer," said the dark. You might be afraid of the dark, but the dark is not afraid of you. That's why the dark is always close by. The dark peeks around the corner and waits behind the door, and you can see the dark up in the sky almost every night, gazing down at you as you gaze up at the stars. Without a creaky roof, the rain would fall on your head. And without a smooth, cold window, you could never see outside. And without a set of stairs, you could never go into the basement where the dark spends its time. Without a closet, you would have nowhere to put your shoes. And without a shower curtain, you would splash water all over the bathroom. And without the dark, everything would be light, and you would never know if you needed a light bulb. "Bottom drawer," said the dark. "What?" "Bottom drawer," said the dark. "Open the bottom drawer." "Thank you," said Laszlo. "You're welcome," said the dark. By the time Laszlo got back into bed, the dark was no longer in his room, except when he closed his eyes to go to sleep. The next morning, Laszlo visited the dark in the basement. "Hi," he said. "Hi, dark." The dark didn't answer, but the bottom drawer was still open, so it looked like something in the corner was smiling. The dark kept on living with Laszlo, but it never bothered him again. Sometimes when things seem to be going all wrong, we can't really feel God's love. But it isn't because God's love isn't there. It's because sometimes when we're having big feelings like sadness, anger, confusion, or frustration, those big feelings can make it hard to feel God's love. You have to be really calm and still to feel God's love. If you're having big feelings, and either you're really upset and overwhelmed by them, or you're trying to block them out and not feel them, you might have found your way into the dark. Uh-oh, I'm in the dark. This doesn't feel good. If you're in the dark and you find that you need to turn on your heart's flashlight so that you can find God's nightlight of love for you, then try this. Start by taking a deep, slow breath. Feel how the air moves your body as it comes in and goes out. You might want to close your eyes and focus inward. See what you feel in your body, because body feelings can tell you about what your heart is feeling. For example, butterflies in your stomach might make you know that you feel nervous, or a pounding heart could help you know you feel afraid. Maybe you feel a heaviness in your chest. That's what they call a heavy heart when people are sad. There's lots of body feelings that can tell you about your feelings. And whatever it is that you feel, just be kind to yourself about it. Don't push those feelings away. Let them be there. And maybe even give yourself a hug. Show yourself some love. Let yourself know that you love yourself. You're supposed to love yourself. Like Mother Nikki says, you cannot give what you do not have. So to love others, you have to love yourself. Now I want you to get as still and quiet as you can. Maybe close your eyes again to focus inward. If you notice any muscles are tense, you should relax them out. So maybe my shoulders are up, maybe my eyebrows are furrowed or something like that. So I want to take a deep breath in, notice that tension, and then breathe out that muscle tension. Get as quiet as you can. See if you can get quiet enough that you can hear that high, high, high tone that people hear in their ears sometimes when things are super quiet. Just give it a minute and sit with the silence. Oh, and I almost forgot the most important thing. You might want to try praying. I found my way back into the light. Did you? I hope you did. If you haven't started to feel God's love yet, don't give up. Keep trying. It's always, always there. Peace.